everybody. Welcome to the Rant. Hi. Oh, it's football season. Yes, it is, and I'm back. Oh, yes, I am. How are you? Yes, we're getting down to it. It's kind of like my prediction show. Where Who's going to be the conference champions out of the Big Five? Well, let's start out west first. My pick for out west, very simple, Oregon. They may have They may have a little bit of trouble with teams like Washington, Utah, and possibly USC. The dark horse out of the Pac-12. People may laugh about this, or people may take me seriously. UCLA. I think UCLA will be the dark horse. But I'm picking Oregon to win the Pac-12. Over in the Big 12, yes, the Big 12 that will be defunct here in a few years. This is a no-brainer, but there is a team on this team's heels. I am going to pick Oklahoma to win the Big 12, but they may have a little trouble with a little team in Iowa, mainly in Ames, Iowa, Iowa State. Iowa State was really good last year. They gave Oklahoma a run last year. I think they can do it again. And y'all saying about something about Texas. I think Texas under new head coach, new defense, new offense, they could give a run in Oklahoma, but we'll find out at the Red River rivalry. Let's see what happens there. And of course, Oklahoma has Oklahoma State, and that's always, you might as well just throw the record books out and everything out in that game, because that's always a big rivalry between two Oklahoma schools, and who can win the state championship. But the rest of the Big 12, no, I don't see it happening. Anyway, on to the ACC, no brainer. I'm picking Clemson. I think Clemson's that good. I think they just reloaded a little bit. I think Dabo and the guys have reloaded. They may have a threat from Mac Brown in North Carolina, and I think that maybe the dark horse, maybe either Miami or Florida State. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm kind of edging towards Miami a little bit. North Carolina last year had a surprising season. I think Mac Brown can do this again. I think I think he can give Clemson a run for their money, but I think Clemson overall at the end of the day will take the ACC. Heading over to the SEC, could be a fun conference because you got Georgia kind of up and coming. You got Florida's been coming around. You got Texas A&M, Auburn, LSU. But all in all, I think the king of the heap still Alabama, and I think Alabama's going to win the SEC. Some people are predicting them to win the national championship. Well, I don't know. We'll wait until find out at the end of the season. Now, shall we? But all in all, I think the SEC belongs to the Alabama, and I think Alabama's got the team to do it. And I see some challenges, but I think Alabama will fend them off and take the trophy once again. I will do a show. I promise you this. I will do a show, and it's about Alabama, and it's going to be called Life Without Saban. I'll give you my thoughts on that later. That'll be another show, but we move on, and I digress. Just, yes, whatever. Big Ten. Wow. Let's start in the Big Ten East, shall we? Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State, they're looking good. They got a lot of returning starters, three all-conference front linemen, running back, Master Teague III, he'll be back. But here's the kicker on Ohio State. They have an untested freshman quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Now, no one knows how good this kid really is. He'll be tested early when Oregon State comes a-calling. And we'll find out how good this Ohio State team is. I think they're good. I do. I think they're good. I think they're good enough to be in the top 5 again this year. They got some returning starters back on offense. They got some key returning starters back on defense. Ohio State's going to look pretty good this year once again, but it may be a little tougher. I think some kinks in them, but I think it's going to be a little tougher for them to hang on. Indiana. I think Indiana is a team to watch for. This year, I think they are. Last year, Indiana surprised everybody. They went 6-1. Like, Indiana is a good football team. Now, can they give Ohio State a run for their money? Can they beat Ohio State? Yeah, we'll wait and see when they play. But the deal is, I think Indiana will give Ohio State a run for their money. I think they're going to cause a little trouble in the Big Ten East. I think they're good enough to hang up in there, to hang with the big boys now. And there's another team, Penn State. Yeah. Last year, Penn State started out, Coach James Franklin, every time he has a bad season, he always comes back with a good season. So I'm thinking that might be the case this year. I think James Franklin and Penn State are going to come on strong again, and they're going to give Ohio State a run for their money also. I think there's going to be two teams out of the East that are going to give Ohio State the run. I think it's going to be Indiana and Penn State. But when it's all said and done, I think Ohio State will take the East. But don't be surprised if you see Penn State or Indiana up there. As for the rest of the teams like Michigan, I don't know. Michigan, they need to figure something out. Jim Harbaugh really needs to figure something out because I know this man is on the hot seat. He hasn't beaten Ohio State yet. And for all the I think 6 tries, he hasn't beaten him just yet. And that's probably making some Michigan fans a little upset by that. But all in all, you can see Michigan having a decent season. I'm not saying they're going to have a spectacular season. I think they're going to have a decent season. I think, with all the stuff going on, maybe Jim Harbaugh can get that program going. I don't know. It's kind of like you don't know with Michigan. They're kind of Jekyll and Hyde. So, but if Jim Harbaugh's on the seat, I think he's going to prove himself, and I think he may make a run at the East. He may make a run at Ohio State. We'll find out. Maybe this will be the year that Jim Harbaugh and Michigan beat Ohio State. As for Michigan State, yeah, good team. They're solid. Mel Tucker needs to get that team going. They need a lot of work on offense. They need a lot of work on defense. But I think Michigan State will be solid in the East. I think they really will. I think they're going to be one of those solid teams in the East. Maryland surprised some people last year. They've been kind of surprising some people off and on. I think Maryland's got a good team. I think that they're solid. I think they'll go to a bowl game this year. But I think they're a solid football team. As for Rutgers, wow. Rutgers is a different story. After last year, Rutgers, yeah, they look, really bad. Greg Shapiro, the head coach at Rutgers, has a lot to work with this year. Maybe they can get to 500 this year. Maybe. We'll find out. Over in the Western Conference, you got Iowa, you got Minnesota that surprised a lot of people. You got Wisconsin, who just last year you can't really count last year. I mean, Minnesota did take the West, but let's face it, Wisconsin didn't play a lot of games last year. It was the pandemic year. So hopefully this year is going to be a full season. I think the top 3 teams are going to be in the West will be Wisconsin, Iowa, and possibly Minnesota. I think they're going to be the dark horse out of all of this. I think Minnesota does have a good team. They had a good team last year, and I don't think they lost a lot of people this year. I think they got some. They have a lot of returning starters that are coming back. They needed to fill some holes. I think they did that already. Iowa, they looked really good last year. Second in the Big Ten in offense. They were pretty well balanced, both offense and defensively. I think Iowa's got a good shot of winning the West. I think Wisconsin has a real good shot of winning the West. But I'm going to probably pick, I may pick Wisconsin to take the West. Not by much. Don't be surprised if you see Iowa or Minnesota fighting for that title also. It could be a 3-team race. And it may come down to the end of the season and see who's going to be the champion of the West. Nebraska. I just like to see us make a bowl game. I mean, if you look at Nebraska's schedule, it's brutal. It's not easy. If we come out a 500 team and go to a bowl game, I'll be happy with that. Okay, I will be. But Scott Frost has a lot to work with. Yes, we do have a lot of returning starters on defense, 9 in fact. Offense, it's a young offensive line, but they do have experience. So if that's saying something, they've been offensive line. They've been playing in games. They do have game experience, but they're still young. Martinez lost some weight this over the summer. Looks good. Looks a little bit faster. He needs to stay healthy because, to tell you the truth, I don't know who's our backup quarterback. But Martinez needs to stay healthy to run this team, and hopefully he does stay healthy. He might be a little banged up. He's been banged up the last couple of years. Hopefully he stays healthy this year, and hopefully we can just get to a bowl game this year. I mean, let's face it, Nebraska needs to get to a bowl game. This could be the year. I don't know. Northwestern, well, they're a scrappy team. They always has been. I wouldn't be surprised if Northwestern gets in the thick of things. Northwestern is a good team. I think they're solid. They've always been solid. They're a very balanced team. So look for Northwestern to make some noise in the Big 12, in the Big 10 West, excuse me. Then we move on to Purdue. They're pretty solid too. Purdue, I think they're a good team also. I think they got a good team this year. I think they're going to make some noise also. Illinois, that's Nebraska's first game. New coach, yeah, used to coach at Wisconsin, went to Arkansas, didn't do so good at Arkansas. Comes back to Illinois and inherited an Illinois team that's, well, they need a lot of help, both offensively and defensively. I don't see Illinois doing a lot again this year. Maybe they'll win 5 games. I don't know. But I don't see Illinois doing a lot. So, my pick overall for the Big Ten, I think it's going to be Ohio State. But they may have a little bit of trouble along. They may have a bumpy road. But I think after all the bumps in the road, Ohio State will take the Big Ten. So let's review. Oregon, Pac-12. Big 12, Oklahoma. ACC, Clemson. SEC, Alabama. Big 10, Ohio State. There you go. Now, if you think that I'm completely off my rocker with those picks, go ahead and put your picks in that comment box below. I want to see what you have to say. And maybe I'll agree with you. Maybe I'll disagree with you. I don't know. Hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to drop me an email, I'm at drunkfarmer67. That'd be drunkfarmer67@gmail.com. Until then, woo! We got the predict show coming up next week. I'll be predicting the Nebraska-Illinois game. Till then, everybody, I'm out of here. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. So long.